This is from The Idiot's Guide to the Cryptocracy by Craig Heimbichner. In the book Secret and Suppressed 2, Banned Ideas and Hidden History into the 21st Century, which is edited by Adam Parfrey and Ken Thomas. Introducing the Cryptocracy. One could introduce the cryptocracy in a number of ways. A famous description of the reality which predates the term itself occurs in Benjamin Disraeli's 1844 classic, Coningsby. Quote, "The world is governed by very different personages from what is imagined by those who are not behind the scenes." End quote. As a member of the British Parliament, thrice Chancellor of the Exchequer, first Earl of Beaconsfield, and twice Prime Minister of England, Disraeli was in a position to know both the scenes and what and who stood behind them. In other words, Disraeli observed and described the cryptocracy, or at least part of it. Nor was he alone. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I want to make some quick comments regarding the Pittsburgh cop killer, Mr. Poplawski. It seems that in most of the comments that I've received on the videos that I've produced on this subject have grasped the intent of what I'm trying to say. Yet a few people have labeled me as being quote-unquote part of the problem in this country, as though the murder of people by the police and the murder of police by crazy wackos is not the problem with this fucking country, but instead people who speak their mind and exercise their First Amendment rights are identified as the problem in this country. And that, in and of itself, is a major, major fucking problem. So I have news for you. If you have a differing view, if you think that I'm wrong or incorrect, you have every right to say so. You can even say that I'm part of the fucking problem. But I have news for you. If you really fucking believe that people speaking their fucking mind, exercising their First Amendment rights, and saying what they think about a particular matter is part of the fucking problem in this country, then you have a serious fucking problem. Now, I'm not advocating violence, and I'm not advocating that anything be done to destroy, kill, murder, whatever, anybody, let alone people in positions of authority. I would say this, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, and that is that if in fact it was this person's intent to make a mark on the country as a blow against the New World Order, then he did a particularly stupid job of it. If you wanted to effect some type of change, you certainly aren't going to idiotically kill 3 police officers. If you were trying to make a racial statement, you certainly wouldn't have killed 2 white police officers and 1 black police officer. If you were ascribing to a conspiratorial point of view where you thought, quote-unquote, the Jews were behind everything, you certainly wouldn't have done what he did. If you were trying to strike a blow against the New World Order, you wouldn't have done what he did. What you would have done is you would have taken on the true power brokers behind the scenes, or their agents. That would be, I could think of a couple of examples of things that you could do if you wanted to make a real statement against the New World Order and your perceived idea of the Jews running everything behind the scenes, if in fact that's what you believe. Why not go down to your local Federal Reserve bank and blow it up? Or shoot your local Federal Reserve board member. I'm not advocating this, mind you. I'm merely illustrating a fucking point. But then again, I'm part of the fucking problem, according to some people, just for voicing these fucking ideas. Or else perhaps if you wanted to show that you had a disdain for the New World Order, wouldn't you go after those who are trying to enforce that New World Order, perhaps go to your local FBI office and target that. Or to your local military base and target that. Rather than sitting in your mother's living room, lying in wait for 3 police officers. The real problem in this country is the fact that there are people out there who still don't get what the real fucking problem is in this country. So, maybe that might be my final word on that subject for the time being. Only to say this one last thing. This person who did the shooting in Pittsburgh was just a crazy son of a bitch. He just went over the deep edge. The fact that he went to white supremacist websites, the fact that he did any of these other things, ascribed to any of these theories, the very outcome of what he did belies that what he was doing was in any way an attempt to effect change. Because if anything, it did the exact opposite of what his purported fucking intent was. And I'll reserve judgment as to what his intent was until I actually hear from him, if he decides to say anything at all.